So yeah, in the medical field, they couldn't come up with the antiviral drugs.
Yeah.
So for example, even to the flu, they don't have any medicine.
Yeah.
In the English medicine,
Rest
even
is the
for the
only
cold,
medicine.
they don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our immunity is
They
only
just give
medicine.
the syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the English medicine, they don't have any medicine for the cold.
Yeah.
They give just mucolytic thing, and they are not even giving the drug, the chemical substance that they have to, neutralize the flu virus.
Yeah.
So they don't have any medicine yet. They are just giving the mucolytic syrups and all those things, and some sleeping tablets like citrizine, allergic reactions, these kind of a thing. But they are not actually giving anything. The best medicine that they only recommend. So most of the doctors, they recommend garlic, ginger, and these kind of a thing to take while you have cold or anything.
Yeah.
And flu or anything. So these are all, we know these are antivirals.
Yeah.
So the entire medical industry, they couldn't even come up with the proper medicine for the flu itself.
Yeah.
And we cannot expect a drug from these kind of from these kind of viruses.
Yeah.
So SARS-CoV-2, they can't come up with any drug. So that much. So they can't, even after 1 year, they are not coming up with the proper drug. They are using remdesivir. They are using monoclonal antibodies. They are using favipiravir, and these kind of and all kind of medicines they have used it, which are still in the trial period. They couldn't come up with a single drug, and it's a failure of science.
Yeah. And whatever happened to all these other things which happened in between? The Ebola, the Zika, the hepatitis A, B, C, like all those things came and went, right?
They don't have any medicine.
Yeah.
They don't have any medicine.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why the people can't question. They don't have any medicine for the viral. Even for the cold, they don't have medicine.
Yeah.
For the cold, they don't have medicine. They are giving cetrizine, and these kind of medicines are allergic. They just decrease your allergic, not cold.
Right. Yeah.
And mucolytic syrups, and these are all not medicines at all.
Yeah.
So how we can call this as an advanced medicine?
Yeah. True.
So much of side effects.
Yeah.
So much of liver toxicity.
Yeah.
They brings you into the body.
Yeah.
And with these kind of medicines, how we can tell English medicine is so advanced?
Yeah. I mean, people are just blinded by fear. They think if they don't send a relative or take anybody, their loved ones who tested positive to the hospital, they're not doing a worthy job. They've gone to that level of programming that.
Ashita, one thing that I have to tell is the fear is only after SARS-CoV came.
Yeah.
After the recent disease came. But before that, what people are doing? Why people are not questioning?
Yeah, I know.
Why people never questioned about the antivirals in the English medicines?
Yeah.
They couldn't make any medicine for the cold or any viral diseases.
Right.
So, for example, chikungunya.
Yeah.
Chikungunya, people used to, they made, papaya.
Yeah.
The doctors itself recommending papaya.
Yeah.
The doctors, when you get sick, when you get this chikungunya, the doctors recommends papaya because they don't have any medicine.
Yeah.
They just they're just giving the blood to you. They're not using any medicines. They're using antibiotics.
Yeah. I think a lot of mosquito-borne diseases are subject to the terrain theory. For example, if you have a lot of toxicity in you and you have a lot of nutritional deficiencies, then you're more susceptible to all these diseases when a mosquito bites you. Because normally, I think all of us get bitten by mosquitoes and none of us have actually fallen sick.
Yeah. So the problem here is none of the immunology is not very dynamic nature.
Yeah.
So it's very dynamic. Few people who are less with the immunity, they will suffer with these kind of diseases.
Yeah.
So, but we can't tell that every time the immunity will be the optimum level.
Yeah.
So immunity is not at the will not be at the optimum level every time.
Yeah, true.
So we have to take care of it. But at some point of a time, these diseases do attack us.
Yeah.
So these diseases will come to us. But then we have it's like a snake bite.
Yeah.
So it's not always snakes comes and bite you.
Yeah.
So it's not always like that. The
it's
position
subject to a lot of factors.
Yeah, a lot of factors.
It goes even beyond germ and
but the human itself, the human itself are susceptible to the diseases. That means they have to come up with drugs for this kind of diseases.
Yeah.
So when there is no drugs at the English medicines are only just allopathic medicines are just 200 years of history or 100 years, or in India 50 years of history they have. That's all. They don't have any proper history.
Yeah.
So, but thousands of years, the people are, surviving with these kind of diseases.
Right.
But how?
Yeah.
That we have to question. When they are, what they used, what kind of medicines they used to use, what kind of herbals they used to use.
Right.
It's, for example, before, in 10 years back or 20 years back, if you have any cold or anything, if any pneumonia attack or anything, these kind of attacks, your grandmother used to use turmeric and all those things to decrease the fever and symptoms and everything.
Right.
And these kind of medicines only, supporting medicine is only antibiotics and these kind of things. But with antibiotics, the viral disease will not decrease.
Yeah. Like,
so the problem
used to
here
die
with that
of bacterial pneumonia every year. I remember my boy. I lost my. Yeah. So you were saying
bacterial.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
So the bacterial pneumonia and parasitic pneumonia are all these things are coming up with the. These are always in our body.
Yeah.
So these are all. The bacteria and all these are always in the body. So, but here we have to understand is the viral infection is spoiling our the cell structures inside our body, and it is infecting our blood.
Yeah.
Okay. So once it is infecting our blood, your immunity will decrease.
Yeah.
So once your immunity will decrease, the bacteria will come.
Yeah.
Not only the viral infection will lead to bacterial and parasitic infections.
Yeah. There's something called pleomorphism in bacteria, which I found very fascinating. The fact that they can change from one kind to another based on the conditions they are living in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the immune system, based on your immune system, it depends upon how the bacteria is responding to your, and these kind of things are responding to your body.
Yeah.
So, for example, if any disease you have, Ebola or malaria or anything, so these are all actually it's bacteria. So the people who are given antibiotics.
Yeah.
So antibiotics are working on you because you have that SARS-CoV-2 is also giving you the bacterial infections inside your body, because once your immune system is down, you will susceptible to the bacterial infections and other parasitic infections.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, so the antibiotic is working on you because antibiotics are decreasing the effects of bacterial infections.
Right.
But it will not survive infections. So the cell structure has to get cured.
Yeah.
The blood infection has to be cured.
Yeah.
Okay.
The toxicity has to be removed.
The infection in your body, infection in your blood, and infection. The toxicity of the cell toxicity has to be reduced.
Yeah.
To decrease the toxicity of the cell, the antibiotics will not work.
Yeah.
Only the antivirals work.
Yeah.
Or the antiviral property herbs will work.
Yeah.
Okay. the antibody,
because
antiviral
modern medicine doesn't have an
also,
antiviral yet, right? So they can't, that's why they
yes,
can't.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
So what people are requiring because of the antibiotics is antibiotics are helping you to decrease the bacterial infection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but these medicines are, I mean, also creating the liver toxicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once the liver toxicity increases, your cell toxicity.
Yeah.
So now the cell toxicity increases, it will keep on infecting your body.
Yeah, it's a cycle, because all our systems are connected, and affecting one system can affect the whole, the rest of the system.
Yeah.
So they don't see that. They don't.
And typhoid and these kind of things are bacterial infections. So for these kind of medicines, you don't need antivirals or anything.
What about tuberculosis?
Yeah, tuberculosis is same like lung diseases only, same viral infections only.
Right.
So even
the problem. Is there a vaccination for it, or how does it? So India is one of the highest rates of tuberculosis, right?
With the antibiotics only.
Yeah, antibiotics. Okay, same thing.
A high level of so the problem here is this SARS-CoV-2 is not decreasing with the antibiotics. So even it's decreasing the bacterial infection, but it is it's very peculiar disease. That means this is a bioweapon.
Yeah.
SARS-CoV-2 is a bioweapon.
Yeah.
So it has a combination. If you see the symptoms,
yeah, and it's causing diabetes, right?
Yeah. Ebola symptoms, Nipah symptoms, and also malarial symptoms.
Right.
That's why hydrochloroquine is working. All the malarial drugs, and all the anti-parasitic parasitic drugs like ivermectin. These are all working on your body. Because why? And now, because of the mutations, even those medicines are not working.
Right. So Judy Mikowitz was right then, was right when she said all of these were made in a lab, from Ebola to...
Yeah, these are all made in... There is no doubt that this is a bioweapon. Otherwise, this will not, because the symptoms are very peculiar in the body. And all the symptoms, the general body, he is having diarrhea, cough, and every symptom that these, say typhoid has different, jaundice has different kind of a symptom, and these kind of symptoms are there in, so these are there's a definitive symptoms for all these diseases, but for this there is no symptom at all. They couldn't come up with a symptom. It's showing every other previous disease symptoms.
It's like a mix and mashup of everything they've created so far.
It's
with
like a chimera.
Insulin resistance thrown in for fun,
Chimera diseases.
Yeah.
That's why hydrochloroquine is working, ivermectin is working, antibiotics are working in the previous first wave. All those are very well. Herb, like all these work, without any interventions only, they all work. But when the vaccination started, so these vaccinations we are telling about, it is increasing the CRP level and all those things. But because of the toxic levels of these vaccines, because of the it is increasing the bacterial infections in our body.
Definitely.
Okay, these are all increasing the bacterial infections in our body. So these bacterial infections spreads. In a short distance, bacterial infections are also contagious. And on top of it, it is generating the cold and cough and everything. So it will easily contagious. So now we are seeing the mutations in our body. Especially because of the spike protein.
Right. I think the spike protein itself...
So polio and all these viruses, they don't have spike proteins.
Right. Yeah. Like it's definitely there in the air. I came in a AC bogie, and there were definitely people who were jabbed in the bogie. And the next 2 days, I went through like some serious amount of elimination of phlegm, because I think it's definitely the theory of self-spreading vaccines is definitely possible. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, what I'm telling is like, so the disease is the vaccination shedding is happening. So recently, the mRNA inventor,
Right.
Robert Malone, he gave an interview in the YouTube, and he said that he actually want months back to FDA to not to create a spike protein.
Right. You can
so now in this one,
if you have any resources and you'd like to share, I think this is
yeah.
And
just a minute.
Yes. What was he saying in the study? He was saying
spike proteins.
Yeah.
Or toxicity is producing the toxic level.
Okay. One more report I read was it's like all they're going to all the organs and making each organ into a spike production factory, and they're concentrating a lot on the reproductive organs is what
yeah now can I share the
yes
in the same place. So if it was really a safe vaccine, then what I just saw was impossible. So that's kind of what triggered me off on this. And then I had been on this Canadian physician's call with Dr. Byram Brittle, and he showed this chart. And he said, normally when you vaccinate someone, the vaccine goes in the shoulder, and it stays in the shoulder, in the shoulder area. And what happens is the antibodies are generated, and they attack the this antigen in the shoulder, and it wipes it out, and we're good. But what Byron Brittle did is he did a FOIA request to the Japanese government to look at the biodistribution data. And what he discovered is that it doesn't stay in the shoulder where we all thought it should stay. It goes throughout your entire body. It goes to your brain, to your heart.
So that's two problems. One problem is it isn't where it's supposed to be, ideally.
Where we thought it was, where we thought it was for all the
and the other
previous vaccines.
The other problem, and this is your area of expertise, is that what these vaccines do is they encode spike protein alone, so that the immune system will learn to recognize spike protein and will catch it quickly when one is confronted with COVID. But the spike protein itself, we now know, is very dangerous. It's cytotoxic. Is that a fair description?
More than fair, and I alerted the FDA about this risk months and months and months ago. And we had a discussion about it.
And to be fair, the FDA did not think that the S1 subunit and the spike protein was toxic. And so the FDA knew about the biodistribution. And one of the scary things is that the biodistribution like peaks in your ovaries. And
so just to nail the point home, they did know.
They did know.
I did send them manuscripts. So
they know.
And their determination was
it's a harmless spike protein.
That they didn't think that was sufficient documentation of the risk that spike was biologically active.
Right. Okay, they did not believe the spike was biologically active. So that was the big mistake.
We now know the spike protein is very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Is biologically
We also know, so if it was very dangerous, but it did what the brochure on these vaccines says it should do, which is lodge in the membrane of the cells that are doing the transcribing, it would be a lot less destructive, right?
I think that's fair, and you're right. It's not just the documentation about the vaccine. It's the prior literature that was put out by the people that developed it, that developed these clones. So they were aware that there was a risk of a spike being biologically active and having adverse events if it did not stay stuck to the cells that were transfected, that got the RNA and made it. Okay, and they used a genetic engineering method of putting a transmembrane domain on it to ensure that it stayed anchored and stayed put.
Yeah, we can pause it and talk.
They did.
This is yeah. If you could send me that link, yeah. That's,
yeah, sure. So that's what like mRNA invented. He's the mRNA.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was warning about the spike protein. So basically what he was telling is the spike protein that they're, so what they want to do is they want to mimic the coronavirus spike protein.
Yeah.
Inside the vaccine, so that the body will generate the antibody to the coronavirus spike proteins.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the basic science they are actually they want to do with the vaccines, mRNA vaccines, and rRNA vaccines also, COVID shield.
Yeah.
So by generating the spike protein after giving the vaccines, so naturally that your body will generate a antibody to the coronavirus spike protein. So that's the general fundamental theoretical viewpoint.
Yeah.
But what they have not calculating is the spike protein that is being generating because of the vaccine itself is a cytotoxic.
Right. That was I'm still I mean, I read about this on like reports on memes and all these pages, but like seeing it spoken about like this is like, yeah. We're gonna end with like one question. What is your answer to all these influencers and everybody who say COVID shield and Covaxin is not mRNA vaccines?
My only request is like just step back and see the data, read the data, what exactly that international journals are actually they are publishing, and what are the international doctors, the alternative. Up to that you have seen the positive news of the vaccinations, but let also consider both sides. So what are the international doctors they are talking about? What are the long-term studies they are predicting because of all this vaccinations process?
Yeah.
And what they're actually calling these vaccinations.
Right. I mean,
so why not looking and put aside your ego? It's not about your family or your thing. So put aside all your egos and just read some materials.
Yeah.
Listen to the people.
Yeah. Gonna link some of that material below. Yeah. That was that was very helpful, Rajshekar. Yeah.